don't want to be in the video.
Here we go. She doesn't want to be in the video.
No.
It's she's helped me a lot. I've made the hat for my blade. My how to make my own blade figure. Making the hat, I must say, has definitely been not the hardest bit, but it's been the most nerve-wracking and painful bit. I basically bought a pack of 4 A4 bits of felt. I don't know where the packets. Oh, there you go. So I started off. I wish I could have videoed me making it, but it was so random and just me scratching my head and fiddling with things. Wouldn't have made a good video. Here's an A4 bit. So we start with that. This is the end product. Little blade there. He's looking. It probably needs a bit of a clean. It's got a lot of dust and bits on it. It's very floppy, so you can, but it's quite stiff, so you can kind of adjust it. I've got a ribbon around there. If we look at it from the top, you can see it's very ratty, but you know, I would say the first thing you want to think about when you're making a blade hat. I pretty much based his blade hat off of this pin, off of this design, because I think that's a good in between. In all the films, his hat changes numerous times, and basically you either have the perfect black Panama sort of hat, which he has in the later films. Number one, he has a really ratty hat that's just a bit of stretched felt. And then he has a few that are in between. I've gone for my own in between. So this is my in between hat. This is somewhere in between. You can see a bit of drawing. So this is somewhere in between a number one and a later hat. So this is like a rough ass hat. You know, he's a rough old character. He's been through a lot. So it's just got a very rough, do-it-yourself sort of glue on my hand. Now, you'd be surprised to know that I pretty much made this entire hat with just using super glue. And felt goes really well with super glue. It gets really hot, actually, when you put the super glue on it. But yeah, so it's got a little ribbon on the side. So yeah, I mean, you can adjust the thing, you can have it like that, like that, like that. Put it forward. So I like it just a bit like this. And also you can pinch that. Yeah, so what I did was, first thing I did was wrap the A4 bit round his head. And then I marked it off so I know how thick I wanted it, whether I wanted it to sit higher on his head or lower or be able to pull down. So I measured this round his head. Then I cut it in half, and this was the other half. So I cut a slightly more than 50%, and then eventually I had to chop it again. But so say I ended up with this, I then just got it to the width I wanted and just super glued the fuck out of it, and it got really weirdly hot. And what I did was I actually did one end, accidentally did one end higher than the other, but it actually helped because then I had a tight end and a loose end, so I had a choice whether I wanted it tight or loose, and I ended up choosing the one I didn't think I'd choose. So I would mess around with that, but that gets you this bit, the band. So then I made this pizza box. So if you take this off to see whether it fit and how long I wanted how big I wanted the brim, and I did actually have to cut it down a bit. So you know, that's something you have to, again, it's a lot of playing by ear. I had to play it by ear on how big I wanted the brim. You know, maybe it could do with a bit of stiffening or a bit of starching or something. But yeah, look, so yeah, using a template for that is really good. And also I left, so see, I cut these circles out the middle, so I left a bit in the middle that I could then snip. So I did one snip there, one there, one there, one there, and then I just went round so that when I flip it up, I could then glue on this bit. So I mean, I could call this video how to make a puppet's hat. But, so that makes it almost like a top hat. And then this is where the difficult bit comes, because now with your 2 bits of felt, imagine that's the circle, you've now got the basis of a hat, you know, and you put that on his head and it looks great, but it just doesn't look right. So the mistake I first made was I made a circle of felt and put it on here and tried to glue it down. That didn't work very well. So then lots of head scratching. I basically decided I don't have a template here for it, but basically if I just draw on here, what I did was I cut a bit of felt into an oval shape, and then I put the circle round it, and you can see that making a little bit of a hat shape. Now on here you can see it better. Here's the circle felt, which is a perfect circle, but then there's the oval here, so you've got that oval shape that I've then glued all this down to, and I'll have to black some of this up because there's a bit of glue sticking out there. Once you've got your oval, you can then fold it all over and just put the pinch in, and there you go, done. Made it sound easy, but it's fuck hard, and you know, you've got to decide. I think if you want a really nice hat, you should buy one from either Circus of the Dead Productions, or you should buy one from AndreToulon.com. They'll give you the nice professional. If you're going for a proper sort of later films blade, or a screen accurate one, I'm not going for a screen accurate one. I'm going for a ghetto, make it yourself DIY blade. As you've seen throughout the rest of the video, which is now nearly over an hour long. But so yeah, here we are. We've got there. His eyes are a bit covered in glue. I don't know what I'm going to do about that. But I don't know. I think it adds to them. It makes them look fucked up and good. So there we have it. Left a little bit of pen on the felt there, but it's no bother really. So yeah, here we are now, the end stage. So that's basically it. Feel it out. Super glue. No, I used virtually no stitching. I used this hat. I had this hat on hand as just something to stare at and sort of think, what should I do with this bit? But that helps because it gave me the idea to have this ridge in here. So yeah, definitely having something to look at and work stuff out. But yeah, that's what I recommend. You make a little circle, put it around your puppet's head, work out the size, then you build your template, then you put your template here, cut round it, cut round the middle, and then make all your slits so it goes up. Then inside the hat you can see where all the slits have gone up into it. Just once it's on his head, I think you can mould it however you want, and it's only once you start messing around with it, if it loses its shape, you can just put it back in with your hands. It's a bit dusty, it needs a bit of cleaning, but it's going to get dusty anyway. But again, he's meant to be like an old toy, gammy as fuck. He's meant to be like rough around the edges because he's blade. If you wanted to, you could cut little nips into the side so it looks like he's accidentally slashed it with his blade. So that's it. The hat, really hard, took a lot of thinking, deep thought. No tutorials online, so hopefully this will help someone one day as a mild tutorial of what to do. If you have any questions, ask me. I have felt left over, I have hair left over, I have eye studs left over, I have lots of, that's a t-shirt, so yeah, get your own t-shirt. But I have a lot of stuff left over. You know, if you need any little bits, let me know. And that's it. You got nice look his mouth. I'm still working on the mouth. Just keep opening and shut. Just keep ramming blue tack up there. And one day it will just be, I don't know. I'll find something to ram in there. Stop. It's kind of cool that it almost makes it look like he's moving or something. You know, he's gradually opening his mouth. Yeah, so there you go. The hat there, I'm really pleased with it. For me personally, I'm really pleased with it. It's got a little ribbon there. My wife gave me a bit of ribbon she had, a little crisscross there. Hold them up so you can see them in a bit of light there. So yeah, I just think that looks a really bladey blade. It's a very, I just like him. He's just a really nice friggin' blade. I'm very pleased with him. Very pleased with old blade there. I'm really happy with that hat. I think it looks fucking ace. Sick. There you go. Bit of glue, bit of felt, bit of fiddling around, some scissors, and you've got your own blade hat. Sick. But yeah, as I say, if you don't want to do that, if you just want to have a really nicely made hat, Circus of the Dead or even Andre Toulon, and they'll have a really mint, super nice hat for a really good value for money. But as I say, I've enjoyed the act of doing it myself, and it just means a lot more to you. Onwards now, my clamps arrived, so it's going to be onward to shaping the knife, shaping the blade, which I'll also fill you in on. Shout out to any blade makers or puppet makers. Fucking get with the puppet making. So tired now. I need some whiskey. It's a lot of work.